Sunday morning. With us today is Governor David Paterson, a common sense governor and a common sense Democrat. And I'd like to hear what he thinks about what's going on in our city, state, country. And he's also good on international events. Well, Governor, what do you feel like this morning?
Well, John, the president was not a happy camper on Thursday. He called out everybody. And by, I'd say, between 7 a.m. Friday morning, and then, off and on throughout the day, there's these major announcements. And all I can say is H-O-R-M-U-Z, H-O-R-M-U-Z. It's all about the Straits of Hormuz. But what caused the Iran and the United States to talk more was the fact that there was some appreciation that Iran had for Egypt, I'm sorry, Syria, right? That had a good conversation. And
no, Lebanon. We'll fix
Lebanon.
it.
Man,
hold on. Let's fix it. Alex, you're going to fix this afterwards, okay? So it's Lebanon, and Israel.
And Israel, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Tell me when.
All right. How far into it are we?
We weren't that far.
Should we start all over again? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we can start from the top. Okay.
Let me start it from the top. 3, 2, 1. What is today is Governor. 3, 2, 1. With us today is Governor Paterson, and he's with us every Sunday. And one common sense Democrat. And what do you think? He knows about our city, he knows about our state, he knows about our country, and he even knows international affairs. Well, Governor Paterson, what's on your mind this morning on a Sunday morning?
Well, John, the president was really upset Thursday, and he was calling everybody out. And I don't know if people drank truth serum Thursday night or whatever it was, but by 7:30 Friday morning, there was a negotiated agreement to open up the Straits of Hormuz. And a lot of this came from the interest, apparently that the Iranians had because of the positive conversation between Lebanon and Israel. Now, remember on Thursday, last Thursday, the president of Lebanon, Joseph Aoun, would not talk to the prime minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, but they got that straightened out. And so we are looking at a period right now where the Straits of Hormuz are going to be open for a while, and that's going to feed the negotiation to a certain extent. Now, for us back here in the United States, the market went up 800 points almost when the news came out on Friday morning. But one thing we have to be careful about is, for instance, we have oil prices over $4 and we want them back to $3. They're not going to go back that quickly because the gas stations and also the refineries are not going to get put in a position where they can't come up with the product at the pump or in the warehouse or wherever that is. But as long as we can live with that for a few weeks, this could be, and I say could be, a tremendous opportunity moving toward peace. And obviously, if we get that kind of peace, we have to understand that right now it takes a lot. Now that the straits are open, for the ships to go in and out of there, they have to reload. There are a whole lot of things they have to do, and no one's stalling. It just takes that long. But I think if we can just trust that everybody was willing to follow the agreement, then in the next 2 weeks, things could even be a lot better than they are now.
Well, I was the first one to predict a great economy back last July, a $50,000 Dow Jones, and we did hit 50,000 almost by the end of the year. Now, I tell you, if we get rid of all the terrorists in the world, and Iran is the center of terrorism. If we get rid of the terrorists, and then bring down oil prices, which they're headed down. They were down to almost $10 a barrel on Friday, and bring down interest rates, I think you're going to have an economy in 2026 that will be phenomenal.
It would be rolling. Now, John, since you're able to do this, I have some cards. Can I bring them over and have you shuffle them for me? Because I'm wondering how my fate will be this year. But very seriously,
I know. When you're in the studio next, I'll put my hands on your head, and I'll tell you how you're going to be for the year.
This is a very exciting moment. Anyway, but I think that that this may actually be the first real positive step toward, and I hate to use the word peace, because in that area of the world, you never know how long peace is going to last. And God, when October 7th of 2023, when the Israelis were attacked, nobody saw that coming. But at the same time, the major players seem to really want to work this out. I think they got the kick in the rear end from President Trump that they kind of deserved. And I'll never understand why other presidents prior to him, and I didn't vote for him, but I'm just saying, never understand why I can't think of any time when any of them really just took on a problem and threatened the people who were trying to stop us from reaching some kind of international agreement. I'll just never understand that.
Well, it's... You know what still bothers me, Governor? NATO.
Tell me.
We saved their behinds, France especially. We saved their behinds in World War I and World War II, and now they turned their back.
Yeah, they wouldn't even send over some supplies when the conflict broke out a couple of months ago in the first place. And by the way, there is a lot of data that apparently is out there that NATO is trying to become a government unto itself. In other words, where everybody would throw their debt in and also what their worth is, and this would be the way to buy machinery and to try to arm themselves in case they had some kind of conflict. I have no idea why they would be doing that, because I have no idea if anything started happening to them again, they would never be able to build the resources to protect themselves. They would be reliant on the United States of America.
I agree with you. Anything else on your mind this Sunday morning?
Well, this is what we always have to understand with these situations is it looked great on Friday. Things seem to be coming together today. But, if everybody in this particular situation abides by what they agreed to, it really turns the whole issue into a possibility of some kind of settlement. Because in this world right now, with all the problems we face, that would be a major accomplishment.
I agree with you. Let's go back to New York for a few minutes. The president was very upset on Thursday and Friday with what's going on in New York City, New York State with taxes. You have any comments on that?
Yes. The president withheld first they said 73 million, and then they said 74 million. The interest rates go up very high now. But that was withheld for transportation funding to New York by the president. The reason was that there were certain types of tests that where you go in and you have your car looked at and they make sure that you're not a danger, that your car can actually drive and that kind of thing, and maintenance, and that's the sort of thing that was not performed by New York. Now, before New Yorkers just think that Trump dislikes them, the same tests were performed by New Jersey, and they got their money. We didn't get our money because of our refusal to comply with this request, which was mandatory. So what I'm suggesting to anybody who has any decision-making capacity in New York, like whoever's the head of the Department of Transportation, see the $73 million that was not sent as a fine. In other words, they could have sent the money and then fined us, but they didn't send it. So it's a fine. And what they need to do is clean up their act. And even though President Trump says some unsettling things about New York State, I don't think he would be so petty that he just wants to pull $73 million out. That, particularly right now, with the increase in automobile crashes, you hear all these commercials, if you're hurt in a crash, just dial 800 something. Well, a lot of that's happening because the actual vehicles that we're driving are not up to par. And that's what I think needs to be done. And John, don't write this down, but the president was right.
I won't write it down. Well, David Paterson, thank you for all your common sense, and we'll catch up again real soon.
Thank you, John.